Most genes that exist in the genome are there because they do something good for the organism. The genes that we study, we think of them as parasitic or selfish genes, or even just bad guys, because they tend to do more harm than good in a genome. So we discovered that this family of parasitic genes in one fungus called Pombi was actually a very ancient gene family that had been around for over 100 million years and was still found in several other species of fungi. Prior to our study, it was thought that these nasty parasitic genes didn't stick around too long on evolutionary timescales. Our discovery that these things are quite ancient in our system kind of turns over that assumption that these nasty genes will be inherently short-lived and opened up the possibility that these parasites can in fact stay in genomes for really, really long periods of time. It also gave us a chance to figure out how such genes could stick around for very long periods of time. One analogy that I like to kind of think about how this works is if you think about natural selection being kind of like tryouts for a soccer team. Usually you have a fair tryout, all of the kids get a chance to show their stuff, and then the coach can pick the ones that perform the best. So this is kind of like natural selection. The most fit get to reproduce and populate the next generation. But meiotic drive messes that up. So meiotic drive is able to make the soccer team even if it's not a very good player. And so, for example, the parasites, the meiotic drivers that we study, they sabotage the other alleles or gene versions that are competing for a place on the team. So it would be like a kid at tryouts going through and knocking out all the other kids. And so that kid, the cheating kid, would make the team, but it's not because he's good at soccer, it's because he took out all the competition. The parasites that we study have a lot of power to shape the evolution of populations. The nasty thing about these parasites is that they don't exist in isolation. They're tucked into the chromosome along with other genes. And so if the parasite spreads, it also spreads whatever happens to be next to it. And so what can happen is nasty mutated genes, so perhaps a disease-associated version of a gene, can end up next to one of these parasites. And because the parasite spreads, the disease-associated version of a gene can also spread in a population. And so the big goal is to understand how they work and how they're shaping the evolution of our genomes.